There was a day where I was in class where I had a weird sensation go down my leg. I go outside during break time and I realized that I lost some motion in my foot. I had what's called a drop foot. And last month, I'm deadlifting close to 500 pounds. So this video describes what happened in between those timelines, what my experience was like in rehab, what went right, what went terribly wrong, and what I had to build to get to where I am today. Because I know if that you are someone who is passionate about training, the end of my story is probably the one that nobody has told you about yours. Before any of this happened, training has always been my anchor. I've been training my whole life. It's that hour and a half where I really just get to focus on building something for me. It's not even about the numbers. Yeah, cool, it's great to lift heavy, obviously, but it's more so about just having this training as a part of my lifestyle. And when that gets taken away, I'm quite a miserable person. I had back pain for over 5 years. I thought it was part of the training process. I thought it was normal to have this back pain. I did the stretching, I did the foam rolling, I did the YouTube. I would push hard again, and then the pain would come back. Like I said, I thought it was a part of normal training. I never really went to go see someone for this. I always pushed it off until one day I'm bench pressing and I felt this weird sensation go down my leg. You know when something goes really bad and you know that it went really bad or it's going to be really bad? That was that moment. I remember going to see my girlfriend in the other room, freaking out because I knew something went terribly wrong. I remember that evening sitting on the couch and wondering, how long is this going to last? And this injury ended up lasting for 3 years. Fast forward to that moment where I'm walking in the hallway, losing some motion in my foot. I remember being even embarrassed to share this with my friend at the time because here I am studying kinesiology and yet I can't really figure out what's going on with my pain. I remember going into the bathroom stall. I did a bunch of back extensions because I had no idea what to do. And I was spiraling. I remember putting my foot up on a stool and I was doing dishes because I was trying to minimize the symptoms that I get in my foot. I mean, pain just took over everything. I would always think about it if I'm standing in line, how long is it going to take before my pain shows up? If I'm sitting down for too long, what kind of chair is going to feel comfortable? Then you start to snap at people because you're so frustrated and you get reminded by that twinge and you just feel like this miserable person. You do not feel like yourself anymore. The physical part is hard, but it's the mental part that is just as hard as well too. And I find that no one really talks about this because it almost feels like you have two different lives. You're this person in pain, but you don't quite remember what it was like not to be in pain anymore. But sitting here, I no longer have pain. I barely remember what it was like to be that person in chronic pain, as if time slows down when you have chronic pain. At one point, I remember even being in my apartment and I just sat down on the floor and I looked at my partner and I'm like, I can't believe this has actually happened to me. You just cannot believe that you are in this situation now. And I just missed training hard. I missed walking into the gym and just loading a barbell and training without even thinking about it, feeling that good soreness and not the symptoms that I was experiencing. I remember even at one point, I would just do tempo bodyweight squats because I was just missing the feeling of getting that muscle soreness again. So I'd go really, really slow just to feel that burn. And I found that I was even jealous of people around me because I saw people training hard and I was just sitting there miserable, not being able to up my weights anymore. You become frustrated, so then you push things, then you have a flare up. Then you reduce things and then you're losing your fitness. And then it's just this spiral that it becomes so difficult to get out of. And when I had this back pain, before it even got really bad, I was seeing all these practitioners for it. I kept seeing all these people, all these specialists. No one gave me an answer that felt right to me. It was always, don't do this, don't do that, don't lift heavy. It was always about taking away something and not actually building me back towards the thing that I wanted to do, which was to lift heavy. And finally, I ended up meeting some people along the way who genuinely helped me. They showed me what it's like to integrate training in a rehab context. And this is when I found that things started to accelerate. And looking back, I realized that the traditional rehab that I was doing, it just ended too early. There was nothing for that phase of just reducing symptoms. When those symptoms are down, something else has to happen after to get you back to the training that you want to do. You can't just stop at those symptoms. So I took what I learned from this experience with these rehab professionals, and I essentially built the thing that I wished I had from the beginning. I remember this one time where I was pulling 3 plates off the floor. I know it might not seem like a lot. I was so happy. If you've been in pain and you start to lift a little bit heavy again, you know how good that feels. And I just remember saying, wow, like something is actually working here. I'm actually excited about this process again. And it was all upwards from there. And I'm just so frustrated, quite frankly, today that I waited too long to find these people and integrate this approach sooner, because now I understand that pain is just the last page of the story. It is not the beginning. So many people think that when they get pain, it's the beginning of a problem. It is the end result of an existing problem. There are so many compensations that your body was using before the pain started to show up. And now you have this pain and you're in the gym and you're starting to add load, volume, intensity. You are just magnifying an existing problem. It's likely going to get worse. So yes, you have to reduce your symptoms, but then you actually have to build the part after, which is integrating progressive training and building you back up to the things that you want to do. Because if you just stay doing this lower level stuff that just helps reduce your symptoms, what do you think is going to happen when you go back to the gym and you start to add all of this load, intensity, and volume back into your training and your body's not prepared for it? You are going to flare up and then you are going to become frustrated. So that part, the progressive training part, happens after the symptoms are reduced. And this is the part that can be built. There's just a lot of people out there who don't know how to build that for you, because I know how long it takes to build this strength. And I know how frustrating it feels to feel like this injury can just take everything away. And this is the last thing that I want you to experience as well too. If you're curious about my approach and how I help other people who are passionate about training get back to the things that they love to do without feeling limited by pain, click the link down below. It's a video that breaks down my entire process. So that's what I recommend to watch next, and I'll catch you in the next one.